Good morning, Doc. Good morning, everyone. So this is the chapter 14 of our book called the MIS, the Managing the Digital Firm by Mr. Kenneth and Ms. J. Lodon. Chapter 14 is about managing projects. So to start off, these are the learning objectives of chapter 14. The objectives of project management and why is it so essential in developing information systems, methods that can be used for selecting and evaluation of information systems, and then aligning them with the firm's business goals. How can firms assess the business value of information systems? And lastly, the principal risk factors in information system projects and how can they be managed. So this chapter start with the story of the project management of Intuit companies. So the Intuit company is a leading provider of financial management software and tools for consumers and business professionals, such as the TurboTax, the QuickBooks, the Quicken, and then the intuitmint.com. So selling these tools and then providing customer service generate a great deal of valuable data. So the Intuit company doesn't have a problem in gathering and storing this large amount of data. However, they encounter difficulties in um in they encounter difficulties in deriving useful insights from all of its data. So they think of a solution and then they launch the IHC or the Intuit Analytics Cloud, which basically they upgraded the lake of data into a pool of data, which gives the user, yung more user can use the system at the same time. Yeah. So how did the Intuit's project managers um, handle the difficulties that they are facing? You know? And then how did they transition from the old system into its analytic cloud? So ang una nilang ginawa is that they designed the analytic cloud not for a specific business use. So, ibig sabihin, it was supposed to be a general platform serving the entire company or business units to use it in any way they chose. Kasi, unlike doon sa traditional database nila, which are designs and yung database kasi nila before entering any data, naka-ano na siya, naka-design na siya, saka naka-organize. So, ibig sabihin, yung mga data lang na pasok doon sa, based sa paano din-design yung system, yun lang yung malalagay doon sa repository. However, in this new system, the Analytics Cloud, less structured lang siya than the traditional database. So, ibig sabihin, user can use it flexibly and then data can be stored flexibly. So A data lake such as IAC is quite the opposite. So, ibig sabihin, user can dump data into the repository without designing a data model beforehand. So, this approach provides tools for people to analyze the data along with a high-level definition of what and why that data exists in the lake. So, along the way, people build various views into the data. Next is that dati kasi ang ginagawa nila is yung Big Bang na tawag. Kumbaga, isang project, isang gawaan ng solution. So this time, they organize the large project into bite-sized pieces, make it possible to deliver demonstrable results as the project progresses. So, creating a series of smaller deliverables rather than yung single large end product. It made the project more manageable for the project teams. Kasi since project team in Intuit company was very sensitive to deadlines and project budget. So, iyon yung ginawa nila. One of the key steps was breaking down the project into easy-to-handle pieces. So, ibig sabihin, each bite-sized project na na-overcome nila or na na-achieve nila, it's a smaller success na. So, the success of the smaller project bites meant that project leaders didn't have to work hard to convince business unit leaders to participate in the project since the analytic cloud can be used by generally lahat ng organization sa company. They can store data and then submit reports through analytic cloud. So the chapter opening diagram, so it calls attention to important points raised by the case of Intuit company. So Intuit's future growth called for more intensive company-wide use of internal and external data. So yung mga outdated file organization and legacy systems na inefficient, it prevents the company from providing the high level of service to customers that management desired. So they chose to break the very large project down into manageable chunks, each with a deliverable, which made the project more manageable. And then also it garnered support from top management and from business units that wanted to use the new system. So let's take a look at this diagram. So if you can see here, meron hinati nila yung group into management, down to organization, down to technology. And as you can see here, meron mga function descriptions on the left side. The management should define the project scope, appoint project teams, set project budget, and then establish deliverables and deadlines. Down to organization, which functions as defining the enterprise-wide data pool, solicit business unit leader participation down to technology. So, yun na yung Hadoop o yung tinatawag natin data analytic tools. Kung saan nila ibabagsak yung data which is the information system. Ito na yung IAC, the full enterprise-wide data for reporting and analysis. So the IAC created the business solutions which result to increase customer service and then increase efficiency. So this business solution, it happens to have a business challenges again, which is yung fragmented data and systems, then we can go back to the cycle balik ulit tayo sa management. They can define the project scope, they can appoint project, so and so forth. So to start with our point 1 of chapter 14, the objectives of project management and why is it important. So there's a very high failure rate, according to the book, among information systems projects. In nearly every organization, information systems projects take much more time and money to implement than originally anticipated, or the completed system does not work properly. So how badly are projects managed? So sabi daw, on average, private sector projects are underestimated by half in terms of budget and time required to deliver the complete system promised in the system plan. So many projects are delivered with missing functionality na pinramis nila sa later versions. So according to McKinsey and Oxford University, large software projects on average run 66% over budget, 33% over schedule, and then as many as 17% of projects turn out so badly that they can threaten the existence of company. So between 30 and 40% of all software projects are runaway. So ano ba yung runaway? These are projects that far exceed the original schedule and budget projections and then fail to perform as originally specified. Yeah, so a systems development project without proper management will most likely suffer these consequences. So according to a 2015 report by Wan Yi, so si Wan Yi, it develops software solutions for managing and reducing IT costs. So sabi niya, 37% of all software installed is not being used, wasting 30 billion US dollar in the United States alone. So what are the consequences? Poor project management will result in costs that vastly exceed budgets, unexpected time slippage, technical performance that is less than expected, and then the worst is failure to obtain anticipated benefits. So the system produced by field information projects are so moving on to the next slides, the system produced by field information projects are often not used in the way they were intended or not used at all. So why is that? The initial reason is the actual design of the system may have failed to capture the essential business requirements or improve organizational performance. What does that mean? Here is an example of a user interface. One of the reasons is that maybe the user is not getting the benefit of the system or the new design system. The actual design of the system may fail to capture essential business requirements or improve organizational performance. We're talking about the user interface. Yan pa lang yung initial reason bakit failed agad yung project system, the new system implementation. Baka kasi sa user interface pa lang fail na. So, magulo yung user interface, di siya naiintindihan ng mga user. So, pagtingin nila, di nila alam kung saan sila magsasabit ng data or saan sila magsisend ng data. So, information may not be provided quickly enough to be helpful. It may be in a format that is impossible to digest and use, or it may represent the wrong pieces of data. So additionally, the data in the system may have a high level of inaccuracy or inconsistency. Information required for a specific business function may be inaccessible because the data are incomplete. The project management. So the project management information or the project management objectives. In here, we have to take a look on the objective of the project management. So in project management, the project, here are the terminologies under the project management objectives. So, meron tayong project. So, project is the planned series of related activities for achieving a specific business objective. So, under here is the information system projects that includes the development of new information systems, enhancement of existing systems, or upgrade or replacement of the firm's information technology or IT infrastructure. Next is the project management. The project management is the application of knowledge, skills, and tools and techniques to achieve the specific targets within the specified budget and time constraints. So, project management activities include planning the work, assessing risk, estimating resources required to accomplish the work, organizing the work, acquiring human and material resources, assigning tasks, directing activities, controlling project execution, reporting progress, and analyzing the results. So under the project management, there are 5 variables of um, project management, which are the scope, time, cost, quality, and risk, which will be defined after the slides. Next is the scope. Scope defines what work is or is not included in the project. Next is the time. The time frame set to complete the project. The cost. So the cost is based on the time to complete a project multiplied by the cost of human resources required to complete the project. Next is the quality. The quality is an indicator of how well the end result of a project satisfies the objectives specified by management. Lastly is the risk. So the risk refers to potential problems that could threaten the success of a project. Moving on to point 2 of chapter 14. So figure 14.2 show the elements of a management structure for information system projects in large corporation. So it helps ensure that the most important projects are given priority. So let's take a look on this figure. As we can see, yung purple sa taas, the corporate strategic planning. So this group is responsible for developing the firm's strategic plan. which may require the development of new systems. Often, this group will have developed objective measures of firm performance. So ito yung KPI or the key performance indicator. These performance indicators are reviewed and discussed by the firm's boards of directors. So, as you can see, yung corporate strategic planning belongs sa senior management. Next is the steering committee. The steering committee is the senior management group with responsibility for systems development and operation. It is composed of department heads from both end user and information system areas. So they review and approve plans for system in all divisions. They seek to coordinate and integrate system, and then they become involved in selecting specific information system projects. So this group is also aware of the key performance indicator decided on by the higher level managers and the board of directors. Last is the project management. The project management is supervised by the project team. The project team is supervised by a project management. So this group is composed of information system managers and then end user managers that are responsible for overseeing the several specific information system projects. So this group consists of the system analysts, the specialists from the relevant end user business areas, the application programmers, and meron ding mga database specialists. So, mix of skills siya. And the size of the project team, it will depend on the specific nature of the system solution. So, in order for us to identify the information system projects that will deliver the most business value, organization needs to develop an information system plan. So this will support their overall business plan and in which strategic systems are incorporated into top level plan. So this plan will serve as a roadmap and it will indicate the direction of system development. So, i.e. the purpose of the plan, the state of current system, the new developments to consider, and the management strategy. The implementation plan and the budget. So let's check the This is table 14.1. Makikita natin dito, ito po yung example of information system plan. Merong purpose of the plan, strategic business plan, rationale, current system, new developments, management strategy, implementation plan, and lastly, the budget requirements. So in key performance indicator, to develop an effective information system plan, the organization must have a clear understanding yung long-term and short-term information requirements. So a strategic approach to information requirements, strategic analysis, or critical success factors argues that an organization information requirements are determined by a small number of KPIs or key performance indicators of manager. So for example, in the automobile firm, here is its key performance indicator, the production cost, the labor cost, the factory productivity, the work and error rate, customer brand recognition, employee job satisfaction rating. So, identifying the key performance indicator yung new information system nila should focus on this key performance indicator that will help the firm meet these goals that are implied by key performance indicator. So once strategic analyses have determined the overall direction of systems development, they can perform the portfolio analysis. So portfolio analysis, it inventories all of the organization's information systems, project and assets, including infrastructure, outsourcing contracts, and licenses. Here is an example of a system portfolio, figure 14.2. So companies should examine their portfolio of projects in terms of potential benefits and likely risk. So in determining the benefit and risk, here is the analysis. Systems with high benefit and low risk is equal to early returns and low risk. High benefit, higher system should be examined. Low benefit, higher system should be totally avoided. And lastly, the low benefit, low risk system should be re-examined. The low benefit and low risk system should be re-examined kasi there may be possibility of rebuilding and replacing them with more desirable systems having higher benefits. So by using the portfolio analysis, management can determine the optimal mix of investment risk and reward for their firms. So balancing the riskier high reward projects with safer lower reward ones. So the company who perform portfolio analysis that align with business strategy have been found to have a superior return of investment. Next is the scoring models. The scoring models is useful for selecting projects where many criteria must be considered. So here is an example of scoring model for an ERP system or the enterprise resource planning. So the scoring models, it assigns weights to various feature of a system and then calculates the weighted total. So as you can see here in the first column, these are the criteria used to evaluate the system. These criteria are given or provided by the decision-making group. In the columns 3 and 5, it shows the percentage of requirements for each function that each alternative ERP can provide. So as you can see in the ERP system B score, it has the highest total score. So it is appropriate to cycle to the scoring model several times down. You can change the criteria, you can change the weights just to see how sensitive the outcome is to reasonable changes in criteria. 14.3, establishing the business value of information systems. So even if a system project supports a firm's strategic goals and then meets user information requirements, it still needs to be a good investment for the firm. Because the value of the systems from financial perspective will always revolve around the issue of return on invested capital. So the organization will ask if a particular information system investment produce sufficient returns to justify its cost. So here is the table 14.3. This is an example of cost and benefits of information system. Pinaghiwalay ko lang yung table. Yan. So, under cost, under tangible benefits, and kasama din sa cost and benefits yung intangible benefits. So, going back to tangible benefits. Tangible benefits can be quantified and assigned a monetary value. However, while the intangible benefits, such as more efficient customer service, these are the example of the intangible benefits, or enhanced decision making. These types of benefits cannot be immediately quantified, but it may lead to quantifiable gains in the long run. Capital budgeting for information system. So to determine the benefits of a particular project, you'll need to calculate all of its costs and all of its benefits. Obviously, a project where cost exceed benefit should be rejected. So, ayan. So in capital budgeting, capital budgeting are one of the several techniques used to measure the value of investing in long-term capital investment. So if a project cost is greater than the benefits, of course it should be rejected. If the benefits is greater than the cost, it doesn't immediately mean na ito na yung gagawin the project manager. Additional financial analysis is still required. Let's say if the benefits outweigh the cost, additional financial analysis is required to determine whether the project represents a good return on the firm's invested capital. So, the principal capital budgeting models for evaluating IT projects are the payback method, the accounting rate or return on investment, the net present value, and the internal rate of return. What are the limitations of the financial model? So, the limitation of the financial model, it will talk about how the traditional focus on the financial and technical aspects of information system. So it tends to overlook now the social and organizational dimension of the information system that may affect the true costs and benefits of the investments. Ayan. So ayan. The limitation of the financial model, it overlooks the cost of training end user and then the effect of users' learning curves on productivity. So the limitation talks about the intangible benefits, such as how the time exerted in decisions from a new system gets timelier. Parang mas umiksi yung panahon nila para mag-decide for a new system, or does it enhance the employees' learning and expertise? So these are the things that may also be overlooked in a traditional financial analysis. 14.4, managing the project risks. So the level of project risk is influenced by the project size, the project structure, and then the experience with technology. The level of technical expertise of the information system staff and project team. So the project size now, the larger the project, the larger the risk. So as indicated by the monitor spend, the size of the implementation staff, the time allocated for implementation, and the number of organizational units affected, affected, the greater the risk. Kasi larger projects are obviously more complex than yung mas maliliit na projects. So, in larger projects, failure rate is up to 50 to 75% higher than other smaller projects. Next is the project structure. So in project structure, why does this belong to the project risk? So project structure is yung how clear and how straightforward yung system. So if the project structure is clear and straightforward, and the users know exactly what they want and what the system should do, there is almost no possibility of the users changing their minds. However, if it is undefined, if fluid pa siya, it is not clear, it is constantly changing requirements, then obviously, hindi siya papansin ng user. Or mataas yung mo doon, failure rate. Next is the experience with technology. In here, if the team is unfamiliar with the hardware, system software, application software, or the management of the system proposed for the project, it is likely that the project will experience technical problems or they will take more time to complete because yung mga unfamiliar staff will need another time to master new skills kasi upon collaborating and then building the new system, technical problems will arise. If you hire staffs that are unfamiliar or hindi experts doon sa projects na ginagawa niyo, of course, they will eat chunk of time to pag-aralan yung ginagawa niyo sa system. Next is the change management and the concept of implementation. So a very large percentage of information systems stumble because the process of organizational change surrounding system building was not properly addressed. So successful system building requires careful change management. So ito na yung parang nakita na yung system, i-implement mo siya. So in the implementation process, madami pa rin nasa-stumble kasi hindi na plano ng maayos o hindi nakapag-adapt ng maayos yung organization sa transition from old system to new system. So implementation refers to the organizational activities working toward adoption, management, utilization of innovation such as the new information system. So to manage the organizational change surrounding the introduction of a new information system effectively, you must examine the process of implementation. So in the implementation process, the system analyst is the change agent. So the analyst not only develops technical solution, but the analyst also redefines the configurations, the interaction, the job activities, and power relationship of various organizational groups. So in implementation, it is crucial to hire the right people, the right change agent kasi po sa kanila nakasalalay yung malaking percentage no success or failure no implementation of the new system. So controlling the risk factors habang while in transition or implementing the new system. So not all aspects of the implementation process can be easily controlled or planned. However, anticipating potential implementation problems now and applying appropriate corrective strategies can increase the chances for system success. Next is identifying the nature and level of risk confronting the project. Implementers can then handle each project with the tools and risk management approaches geared to its level of risk. So not all risks are identifiable in advance, but with skillful project management, most are. Frequent communication and a culture of collaboration will help project teams adapt to the unforeseen problems that will arise. So, because the purpose of a new system is to improve the organization's performance, information system projects must explicitly address the ways in which the organization will change when the new system is installed, including installation of mobile and web applications. So, moving on to the last part of my report, designing for organization. Areas where users interface with the system require special attention with sensitivity to ergonomics issue. So, ano ba yung ergonomics? So, ergonomics refers to the interaction of people and machines in the work environment. It considers the design of jobs, health issues, and the end user interface of information system. So, although system analysis and design uh, and design activities are supposed to include an organizational impact analysis. This area has traditionally been neglected. So, organizational impact analysis. This explains how a proposed system will affect organizational structure, attitudes, decision making, and operations. So, to integrate information systems successfully with the organization, it will need a thorough and fully documented organizational impact assessments, and it must be given more attention in the development. So that concludes the chapter 14. Thank you for listening.